How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout. I am your host, FaZe Crypto, and I figured that this would be a great opportunity for us to just get some context as to where we stand in the overall cryptocurrency evolution of the space in general, and how that pertains to the current dynamics of what we see, making sense of some of these headlines. Of course, we've got Bitcoin in the news, sort of always being associated with crime, and at the same time, the North Korea sort of stuff popping up. But then, of course, we've got Bitcoin price bounce back as cryptocurrency experts predict huge jump, and I mean, sort of just par for the course stuff here. I mean, really no new narratives developing other than the fact that we've seen the Bitcoin price sort of all over the place in that $11,000 range, everywhere from breaking the $12,000 and then of course going down towards the lower halves of the 11K. And what does all this mean? And of course, I want to work Holochain into this explanation, and of course branch out and really discuss a lot of these different things that people in the cryptocurrency, a lot of other cryptocurrency YouTubers make a point to discuss. Like Walmart is of course pointed their attention towards the cryptocurrency space, as well as of course more notably Facebook and many other huge household names have sort of realized that it's come to the point with cryptocurrency where it's sort of adapt or be gone. And I think that that's sort of the general nature of the beast with what we're seeing happening right now with cryptocurrency. I think that this moment has sort of come much sooner than many of the other spaces. Actors in this space have sort of saw the writing on the wall early and had the opportunity to accumulate, while others have sort of waited and now will be forced to buy in at the future of what is soon to come. I have really no doubt that we'll be seeing Bitcoin at all-time highs and probably won't dip below the accessible levels to where we saw it last year, which was really unprecedented, seeing a $3,000 Bitcoin. Hats off to anybody who saw the writing on the wall and took that opportunity to accumulate 3 times as much crypto, in particular Bitcoin, for the price that it's currently going at right now, experiencing those gains. And I really think that we'll be seeing that similar story unfolding with the altcoins sooner or later. I think that it's pretty inevitable, and I think that it would be naive to consider that when we're really looking at the technology as it's made available. Especially bringing it all back to that conversation about Facebook. We want to talk about Holochain in this context, and the fact that Holochain is bring people with this opportunity to have ownership of their own data, control of their own identity. I think that right now we're starting to see the field, the battlefield is being, the lines are being drawn at this point right now, where we're essentially seeing these Walmart cryptocurrency. I've read into it and reading into the Facebook one, and I essentially see it as like, when you go to a grocery store and you could go and buy a Visa card for $50, or you can use it on the internet. That's essentially what the technology behind the Walmart crypto is going to boil down to, not a real cryptocurrency by any stretch of the imagination. And so when we want to talk about the current situation with Bitcoin and all these other things, I'd really like to just stress the fact that the opportunity to own legitimate cryptocurrencies, the window of that opportunity is it's open, wide open right now. We're still sort of in that early stages, the first inning of the cryptocurrency ball game. And from here on out, I'm sure that we'll be witnessing some pretty expansive things that'll be happening, at a rapid time. But seeing stuff like Holochain valued at 0.0, 3 points over from the decimal point, that's really on sale. When you really want to talk about what the significance significance of these technologies is going to be. I think anything in the top 100, as far as the altcoins goes, is one that's at least worth doing your research. So, I mean, what does this all have to do with, the global events that have been unfolding? Well, I'll tell you. I mean, the fact of the matter is we're going to be seeing some really interesting things happening in the cryptocurrency space over this next 6 months. And, I think that the people who'd been, there's going to be a marked difference between people who had been accumulating all this time and people who are going to be playing catch up. Of course, we can look at how overvalued or undervalued a cryptocurrency is relative to its blockchain activity. Big values indicate an overbought asset. A small value means an asset is oversold. And I think that this is interesting. This is a different approach to RSI. I wanted to bring this tweet up by the Crypto Duck because it definitely does paint a picture for where a lot of these different altcoins stand. And it is risky holding altcoins. Don't get me wrong. I know right now a lot of people find. I've been speaking with many of you who've been telling me that you've been putting everything into Bitcoin just because that seems to be the one Vegas game that's currently, the only place that's open for business right now. With stuff like Litecoin, really difficult for itself to manage at that $90 level. And when we finally do see an inevitable pullback on the Bitcoin price, we'll probably be seeing Litecoin and a lot of the other altcoins taking a hit. So right now might not be necessarily the best time to be accumulating these altcoins in particular, due to the fact that they've really been standing still, even though we've been seeing some price action on Bitcoin, really taking up 68.7% of total market dominance, and that number will probably raise up to 80%. Bitcoin sort of currently being the only game in town, which is of course eye-opening. But at the same time, we do need to understand how this content that I've basically been associating with, which has pretty much led me to believe, or at least I've paid some lip service in the past to the overall, when people talk about the copy ability of the Bitcoin sort of thing. When we want to talk about how all the other cryptos on here have learned to establish themselves in their ranking due to some sort of innovation that they've built on top of blockchain, whereas Bitcoin, it sort of keeps the crown because it was first to the space. But when we want to look at something like Digibyte or any of these baby Bitcoins that have pretty much been able to run circles around the original Satoshi sort of mentality, those are all things that are worthy arguments that I've seen many of you putting into the comment section, which I think definitely do lend themselves to an argument that can be made in Holochain's favor and many of the like, as we see the future of altcoins. And the first paradigm of the initial introduction of the cryptocurrency space, I think, can be broken up into 3-year cycles, and we're coming to an end of this current cycle, which began with the all-time highs of Bitcoin at that $20,000 level in 2017, and I believe that 2020 will be the beginning of a new sort of branching out. And now, of course, over this short amount of time, we've seen people and their mentality regarding these things definitely making a marked shift, in regards to, instead of looking at the price, looking at price volatility in these things. I think right now people are more focused on the technology, and of course what the real life issues that can actually be solved, problem, reaction, solution sort of oriented. And this is another reason why I think Holochain is an interesting project to pay attention to. But just some food for thought. I hope you guys have found this video valuable. Of course, remember, if you guys are interested in connecting with us, you could do so at our Twitter. It's at CryptoTuber on Twitter. Always interested in hearing what you guys have to say. Of course, remember, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. Of course, this video is not financial advice. I'm not your dad, so I'll make sure that you guys go and do your own research when it comes to these things. But yeah, overall, I am fairly bullish on the future of many of these promising altcoins, and I definitely put Holochain on that list. I think a future generation of wealth will be built on people who had the foresight to accumulate in this time, but I'm not necessarily sure if right now is the perfect opportunity. I think the prices will be going lower, and maybe not this month, probably after a lot of the steam has worn off, in regards to the current attention that's being that's slowly but surely going to bleed over into the cryptocurrency space. But all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this content, and I'll see you guys next video. Have a good one.